Hi guys, welcome back to another session. This is the last question, continuing from the previous question that we've already covered. So, but guys, if we have missed the previous session, make sure that you check the previous videos that I've covered on this topic. And I've decided to cut these videos into pieces because these questions are very long and they want different solutions for different routes. So I had to cover different routes, and then I've also explained on the previous video why do we have different routes on this question. And to answer this question, we're going to use two methods and we're going to use two different solutions for each question so that all perspectives are covered in this question. And guys, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, please make sure guys you like and subscribe. Let's get into it one more time. Now, question number 6.4 from the previous question. Now, starting again from the top, it says the street map shows the distance from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth. Mpilenhle will be driving from Cape Town to Beaufort West. So we have identified two routes here from Cape Town to Beaufort West. So the one from Cape Town via N1. So is this route that is right here, and Beaufort West is here at the top, as you can see it. So starting from here at the bottom, which is Cape Town. So the other route, it can be this one, the straight one here, which is route number 2, which is equals to the distance with route number 2. It's 712. For route number 1, the distance it is 607 kilometers. So we've already identified those two routes from the previous question. Now it says here he drives a Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG with 70 liters fuel tank capacity and fuel consumption of 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Now this is used in the street chart above to answer the following questions. So now here is the following questions. This is the last question, therefore. Now they say here in this question, Pilenhle left Cape Town at, so he left Cape Town at this point, at this time, which is 9:30. So that's what the time he left here. So he left at 9:30. So and then he arrived at Bedford West here at 15:30. So this is the time of arrival time. So time of departure is the one at the bottom. So now he stopped twice during the trip to take a break. So he stopped twice. And then Pilenhle stated that the two breaks were approximately 25 minutes each. So we're approximately that time. They say now the next question says, did Pilenhle kept within the speed limit on South African national roads? So did he kept within that speed limit? So the first question that might come up now, what is the speed limit on the national road? So definitely we know that the speed limit, the speed limit for national road, it's let's look at it. Therefore, I'm gonna write it here. So the speed limit on national road. So it is how much? Therefore, we know that that's supposed to be 120 kilometers per hour. Yeah, 120 kilometers per hour. So did he kept within that speed? Was he driving within that? We didn't exceed, and you understand. So that's the question that is asked. This is motivate your answer by means of calculation. So now we need to show calculations. So we need to show calculation how that onto proving that he was within or he kept within the speed limit. So now we're gonna get into it. So now I'm gonna cover the first part whereby we say it is the first route. If we use the first route, the shortest route, which is route number 1 via N1, which is 607 kilometers, and we're gonna cover again route number 2, which is 712 kilometers, and then check if he was using any of these routes was within that speed limit. First of all, when we get into this question now, we have to calculate the time taken for this journey, for this trip. The time taken for the trip. So what was the time taken for this trip, therefore, and how do we calculate it? Now I'm going to take you straight to it. So the time, okay, sorry. Looking at the time taken. Time taken. So now, how do we calculate the time taken for this trip? So we're going to look at the overall time, therefore. So now you're going to subtract the arrival time. So the arrival time is what you're going to say. You're going to say is 15 that he arrived at this time, and then you're going to subtract it with the time of departure, so which is 9:30. So now, what are we going to do here? So what are we doing here? We need to subtract minute with the minutes. So we're going to subtract minutes with the minutes. So now if we subtract 30 minus 30, therefore it gives us 0 minute. So now if we're going to subtract 15 minus 9, this it gives us about 6 hours. So now it means now therefore the trip, it took exactly 6 hours from the starting point until to the end, until to its destination. It took exactly 6 hours. So now the question it will be now, we need to find the time for our break. So what was the time for our break? The next step, therefore, that's step number 2. So how long were the breaks, therefore? Because we need to verify the speed. So if we need to verify the speed during this time of 6 hours, there was also a break, because that was the whole trip. So we need to find the time for our breaks. Therefore, I'm going to write it here. For our breaks, for breaks, therefore our breaks actually lasted for, he has 2 breaks that lasted for 25 minutes. 2 breaks. There were 2 breaks here, and then for how long? For 25 minutes each. So therefore, we're going to say 2 times 25 minutes. So this, it gives us a total of how much? Therefore, it gives us a total of 50 minutes. So that means the total of breaks therefore is 50 minutes. So now how many hours are these? Because we're dealing with hours, the speed is going to be also in hours. So we need to convert this 50 into hours. So therefore we're going to divide here by 60 minutes. So when we divide this by 60 minutes, therefore how much do you get? We'll get 0.833 hours. So this the time that was spent on hours. So this is the total time of the whole journey, including driving and the breaks. So but now we need to separate now the driving time. So what was the driving time therefore? Now the driving time, therefore we're gonna take the time for the whole trip, subtract with the breaks. Therefore we're gonna find the driving time. So we need to find the driving time. So we're gonna say 6 hours minus 0.833 hours. So therefore it gives us how many hours of driving time therefore. And then this, it will give us 5,167 hours of driving. So he only spent this time on driving. So now therefore, what was his average speed therefore? We need to find the average speed, therefore we are given the formula. It says you may use this formula here. You can use the formula speed is equal to distance divided by time. So now we need to use that. So now this would be speed is equal to distance divided by time. So now let's substitute and then on this formula now. If we substitute on this formula, so what was his distance? So now, as I've explained earlier on, we have 2 routes here. So now, if you are one of the students that use route number 1, because it was the most cost-effective route, which was cheaper, and meaning that it was a very short distance to get into that destination. So this is what would be. This would be your speed limit. Therefore you want to say this. The distance is what is 607 kilometers divided by the driving time. The driving time therefore is going to be 5,167 hours. So now if we calculate this, therefore it gives us how much? It gives us a speed of 117,48 kilometers per hour. That's the speed that we are getting. It's 117.48 kilometers. That was his average speed, therefore. But for some of us that have used, just to separate, we've used route number 2, which was maybe the most easiest part of describing the route therefore, which is using route number 2. So now if we've used in route number 2, which has a distance of 712 kilometers, divide by the time there. We're looking for speed for route number 2, then we'll divide by the time, which is 5,167 hours. So now, what was the total average speed? Therefore, here you're going to get about 137, 7,7. Okay, I'm gonna just run it off to 2 decimal place. Therefore, you get 80 kilometers per hour. So that's what we're gonna get here. 337.80 kilometers per hour. That will be the average speed if we use route number 2. Now the question now, have we answered the question? Now we have found just the speed of the car for route 1 and route number 2. So now the question, did we answer the question now? The question says, did Pilantle kept within the speed limit on South African national roads? Now this is motivate your answer with calculations. So we have done our calculations now. So now we need to compare the speed of the driving speed and then compare it with this 120. Yeah, we need to compare it with 120. So now if Pilantle use route 1, I've already mentioned that he has used route number 1. Route number 1, which was the kilometers for that route, it was 607, which is this part here. Just want to highlight it quickly. So which is route number 1. Let me just fix it. So this is the route. I don't know what's going on with this, but now just try to never mind that. So now you get the idea. You use this. So now, did he keep within the speed limit if you use route number 1? The answer, therefore, definitely is going to be yes. Yes, that would be your answer. And then motivation, it's your motivation is what we have been doing there, which will be your calculations here. So the answer is going to be yes. So you can describe it as all you want and then say that maybe his average driving speed is 117.48, which is below the speed limit. If you want to add on that part, you can also add it. So now, but if he has used route number 2, your route number 2, remember, is this from Cape Town, from this using N2, then via this route. Therefore, then the distance, it was this 712 there. So now, what would be your answer then? Therefore, your answer, therefore, in this question, it will be no. If you use that, so we're expecting the answer to be no. And then why is because that his driving speed was what 137. We can say that. Okay, you can say that 137.80 kilometers is greater than 120 kilometers per hour, guys. So here on route number 1, it was going to be 117.8, which is less than 120. So that's why the answer is yes at the top. But here on route number 2, the answer is no, because 137 is greater than 120, which is the national route speed limit. So therefore, this would be the solution that you will get. So I've just covered 2 parts, 2 ideas on how to answer this question. So now, guys, I've come to the conclusion of this session. Please make sure that, guys, you like and subscribe. And I'll be posting more information, guys, on how you can register yourself, guys, to rewrite your metric. For those who want to rewrite your metric, and then, or if you know someone that wants to rewrite their metric, I'm going to post more information here so that they can do that. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next sessions. Sharp. Like and subscribe.